My mom told me to cancel my engagement party so my heartbroken sister could have the spotlight. So I uninvited everyone and took my life back instead. I, 31M, have always been the kind of person who stayed quiet even when things hurt. I grew up believing that family came first, even if that meant putting myself second. From as far back as I can remember, I was the one who compromised, who adjusted, who stepped aside. And almost every time it was for my younger sister, Lily 26F. She was always the center of attention. Whether it was her birthday or mine, her bad day took priority over my good one. My parents, especially my mom, had a soft spot for her, and everything revolved around Lily's feelings. I learned early on that if Lily was upset, everything else had to stop. At first, I didn't mind. I was the older brother. I thought maybe that's what I was supposed to do. But as I got older, the pattern didn't change. I got my first internship. My mom forgot to tell anyone because Lily got dumped the same week. I got accepted into a great university. My dad suggested I stay local because Lily would miss me too much. Even when I bought my first car with my own savings, my parents made me drive Lily to all her activities like it was a taxi. And every time I spoke up, I was told to be understanding because Lily was sensitive. Eventually, I stopped complaining. I just did what was expected and tried to keep the peace. I'm engaged to Emily 28F, the most supportive, kind, and grounded woman I've ever met. We've been together for 4 years, and when I proposed to her last spring, it was one of the happiest moments of my life. She said yes, we hugged, we cried, and we started dreaming about our future together. Part of that dream included a small, beautiful engagement party with our closest friends and family. Just a way to celebrate love, growth, and what lies ahead. Emily put so much effort into planning. She handpicked a cozy garden venue, picked flowers that matched her grandmother's favorite bouquet, and even designed our invitations herself. We booked a local caterer who did farm-to-table meals, set a date, sent invitations, and spent weekends preparing all the details. Her parents were flying in from out of state, and we had some of our best friends coming. I could tell Emily was genuinely excited. She kept saying, "This will be our first big memory as a married couple in the making." Then the call came. My mom. At first, the conversation was casual. She asked what time the event started, who would be coming, and whether we needed help setting up. But then her tone shifted. She brought up Lily, saying, "You know she's not doing well, right?" I hadn't heard anything recently, so I asked what happened. Apparently, Lily had just broken up with her boyfriend of 2 years, a guy she'd been on and off with for a while. My mom said Lily was heartbroken, barely getting out of bed, and emotionally unstable. I said I was sorry to hear that, and asked if Lily would still come to the party. My mom hesitated, then said, "Honestly, I don't think she can handle it. Being around all that joy right now, it would be too much." I nodded, understanding that breakups can be hard. But then she said something that made my blood run cold. "She deserves the spotlight right now, not you." At first, I thought I misheard her, but she repeated it, saying it would be cruel to celebrate love right now when Lily's life was falling apart. She suggested that I postpone the engagement party. "Just until things settle down," she said. "You'll have plenty of time to celebrate later. Right now, the family needs to focus on Lily." My hands started shaking. I wasn't even angry yet, just numb. I asked her if she realized that Emily had spent weeks planning this, that her parents had already bought plane tickets, that we'd paid for the venue, the food, the music. But my mom just replied, "Those things can be rescheduled, but your sister needs us now." I didn't say much more. I ended the call politely, but my mind was racing. After I hung up, I just sat there on the couch, staring into space. I thought about all the times I'd put my life on hold for Lily, all the moments that were supposed to be mine but somehow became hers. I remembered when I got my first job offer, and Lily got a speeding ticket that same day, so my parents skipped celebrating with me. Or the time I brought Emily home for Christmas and my family ignored her because Lily was crying about a college rejection. And now, even my engagement party was supposed to be put on hold? I took a deep breath and told Emily everything. She just listened. She didn't interrupt or judge. When I finished, she took my hand and said, "This isn't just about a party, is it?" I shook my head. It's never been about just one thing. That night, I made a decision I should have made years ago. I picked up my phone and sent a message to my family group chat. I told them that due to a change in plans, we were scaling down the event and keeping it private. No one from my side of the family would be expected to attend. I didn't mention Lily. I didn't blame anyone. I just set a boundary. Within minutes, my phone lit up with messages. My mom said she was disappointed and that I was punishing the whole family over one comment. My dad said I was overreacting. My aunt messaged me separately asking what drama had happened. I didn't respond to any of them. Emily helped me rearrange the setup for the party. We returned a few rentals, adjusted the food order, and contacted the guests we still wanted to come. Her parents were more than understanding. My friends reached out with encouragement and support. Not one of them thought I was wrong for standing my ground. The night of the party came, and it was magical. We had twinkling lights hung between trees, music playing in the background, and people who were truly happy for us. There was laughter, speeches, tears of joy, and a moment where Emily looked at me and said, "This is what love looks like." I don't think I'd ever felt more seen in my life. The morning after the party, I woke up with a quiet sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. There were no apologies to make, no guilt eating at my chest, no tiptoeing around anyone's emotions. Just me, Emily, and the echo of a night that belonged entirely to us. I sat with my coffee on the balcony, looking out at the sunrise, and I thought to myself, this is what it feels like to choose yourself. But that calm didn't last long. By noon, my phone was blowing up again. My mom had left a 3-minute voicemail crying about how I had divided the family. She said that my behavior was cruel and cold, that I'd humiliated my sister and embarrassed them all by not allowing them to attend. She claimed that family events were meant to include everyone, not just the people I felt like inviting. Then came a message from Lily. Simply read, "I'm so sorry I ruined your big moment. I hope you're happy." There was no sincerity in it, just guilt-tripping dressed as an apology. For a moment, the old guilt rose in my chest like a tidal wave. That familiar feeling that maybe I had overreacted, maybe I should have just let them come, maybe I was being harsh. But then I thought back to all the sacrifices, all the times my voice was silenced so hers could be heard, all the milestones that were turned into footnotes because Lily was always deemed the priority. This time, I wasn't going to apologize for setting a boundary. Instead of responding right away, I took my time. I talked it through with Emily. I let myself feel everything. The sadness, the anger, the relief, and then I wrote back to my family with clarity. I told them that for years, I had been silently pushing my needs aside for the sake of family harmony, that I had let myself be treated like an afterthought while my sister's emotions dictated everything. I wrote that I was tired of being the one who always bent to keep everyone comfortable, and that this time I chose myself. I explained that our engagement party was a celebration of our future, and it deserved to be protected from the constant emotional tug-of-war that had defined so much of my life with them. I ended the message by saying, "I'm not cutting you off. I'm simply choosing peace. And if that feels like rejection, maybe it's time to ask why." I hit send, and then I put my phone down. The days that followed were a mix of silence and noise. Some family members stayed quiet, clearly unsure whose side to take. A few reached out privately to say they understood, that they'd seen the way my parents prioritized Lily for years but were too afraid to speak up. That me standing up for myself made them realize how much they had been ignoring their own pain too. My mom didn't reply to my message for a week. When she finally did, it was a single sentence. "You've changed." And you know what? She was right. I had changed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't letting someone else's crisis eclipse my joy. I wasn't making myself smaller so that someone else could feel bigger. I wasn't sacrificing my moment just because someone else was struggling. I was finally living for myself, not for approval, not for harmony, not for obligation. And with that change came a new kind of freedom. Emily and I started planning the wedding with a clear mind.
No drama, no Uninvited guilt.
We talked about eloping or doing a small destination wedding with just the people who truly supported us. Her parents were thrilled with the idea. My friends, the ones who stood by me, were excited to be part of whatever came next. Lily, she went back to posting melancholic quotes on Instagram and rebuilding her world, as she often did after breakups. I heard through a cousin that she was telling people I'd disowned her, that I was unrecognizable lately, and maybe that was true too, because the version of me she knew would have given up his entire wedding just so she could cry a little louder. That version of me doesn't exist anymore. I'm still open to rebuilding some kind of relationship with my family, but only if it comes with respect, balance, and acknowledgement of the years I was silenced. I'm no longer interested in being the background character in my own life story. I look back at that engagement party and I smile. It wasn't just a celebration of our love. It was a quiet declaration that I would no longer be manipulated by emotional blackmail. That my joy was valid even if others were hurting. That boundaries aren't cruel, they're survival. And that sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is walk away from people who only celebrate you when it's convenient for them. Emily has been my rock through all of this. She often tells me she fell in love with me because of my kindness, but she's told me lately that she loves this version of me even more, the one who stands tall, protects his peace, and doesn't apologize for taking up space. So here we are. No more apologies. No more guilt. Just a life we're building together on our terms. And to anyone out there who's always been the one to step aside for someone else's drama, I'll say this. You deserve your moment. You deserve to be celebrated without conditions. And if someone can't be happy for you without making it about them, maybe they were never really there for you in the first place. Like, comment, and subscribe if you believe setting boundaries with family isn't betrayal. It's survival.